I think it's safe to say the disruptive one has left the building. The war of words between Gakpo and Ange Postecoglou rolls on. Chris Sutton gets in on the action, and Joe Hart believes that we are better placed with it's magic in the building. And then we'll go into the comment section and we'll see what he's saying. Yesterday's video. So first of all, Ange Postecoglou said yesterday that he revealed the future of Gakpo was no longer on his radar and claimed Instagram users would find out about the Greek's exit before he does. I think if you look back a couple of months ago when the big grumpy Greek, as I've been calling him, did put out an Instagram story with regards to time that he was getting on the pitch, I think there has been some kind of fallout in the background, and you know the players won't talk about it. If you look back, one of the interesting things that I was just doing, so I was on Instagram, and if you look back at Celtic's Instagram page, there's not a lot that you actually see about the big grumpy Greek. So has there been some kind of falling out at the club a long time ago, and that's why the manager knew that he was going to be leaving anyway. He obviously didn't agree the new terms that were offered to him, but the fact that Ange said that yesterday is probably a little sly dig at that comment a few months back, where I thought it was only about a month ago, wasn't it, when he put up the little timer, the sand timer, and I think Ange doesn't like the players being on Instagram too much, and there's obviously been some kind of fallout. Postecoglou went on to say, "It's not on my radar, I don't expect him back in the group, but it hasn't been finalised yet." He appears, obviously the Greek appeared to be frustrated of his lack of game time with his previous Instagram before the window opened. Going on to it, he went onto Instagram last night, the mad Greek, a few hours after Ange posted that. He took to social media. The striker hasn't started, and then he put up a little bit of a thing about starting 11 and a Greek YouTube video. So he obviously wants to move because he wants to be in the starting 11. He was in the starting 11, do you know? He wasn't, he was on the bench, wasn't he? And that's why he wanted to leave. He's obviously the type of player that Ange doesn't take too kindly of, and that's why he was punted out the door, basically. The war of words continues yesterday with big Chris Sutton getting in on the action. Chris Sutton slates the Sevco boss Michael Beale for remarks about Celtic. Chris Sutton said that Michael Beale has a lack of class following his recent comments about Celtic manager Ange Postecoglou, saying that the Aussie counterpart was a lucky man for the money he had at his disposal on transfers. Michael, you need to go back to your own club and say, where's the money gone? Where's all the money that you've made on your run to Seville? Where is all that money gone? Yeah, it was all directors' loans that were all had to get paid back, didn't they? And Rangers have no money, and we are champions. The Huns have got no money, and we are champions. Anyway, the jive for Beale was belittled Postecoglou's achievements, and it basically rattled him. Big Chris went on to say it's basically a real lack of class within the game. I think many managers raise eyebrows at Beale's lack of self-awareness, especially the way he left QPR. I've got to remember, this is the same manager that said he would never leave QPR. And then he stabbed Gio in the back by turning up and watching a game at Ibrox. The less we say about him, the better. The fact that we're 9 points in front. And all he does, he seems to be doing, is talking about Celtic. So Big Joe Hart says that the 2.5 million transfer in O brings something special to Celtic. Now, you have to think about that for a minute, because we did have a big target man, a big striker, and there's obviously been something going on in the background with the big grumpy Greek. Goalkeeper Hart has praised O, and he said he'll bring something special to the club. After the striker signed in January, the 21-year-old has caught Postecoglou's eye, scoring 14 goals in 39 appearances, and that's what made him come to Celtic. That's what made Celtic go for him. He does seem a big lad. It's good to see us having a big, strong guy up front for a change. It's just fantastic. I think he's brilliant. I think he's going to be some player, and I think he will fit into the mould that Ange Postecoglou is building at Celtic for the team going forward. A lot of things have been said yesterday about players going and not being there for the club. I think the way that Ange wants this team working, he is building for the future, and that's fantastic. So Joe Hart said he was speaking to the boys as much as fans as everyone when it comes to the new signing. Sometimes you take to a teammate and you take your hat off to him. I know that people have mentioned how sharp he is and how hard he is to keep a hold of in training. So yeah, big lad that's got good movement, and that's what we really want in a player. So let's jump over to the comment section. O'Reilly says, Rick Kelly, O'Reilly has got it just a matter of time for the young man. Let him take his time at Celtic and we'll bring out the best of him and give them the best opportunity to move in a couple of years. Gara says, didn't want to see Gigi leave, but the sooner he's out the door the better. Sick of hearing about him. Yeah, I think there's been something going on in the background that we're not really aware of, and the fact that the club and the manager was kind of glad that he's gone by the looks of it. Linda says, hi, thanks for your comment, Linda. Big Gigi has made a complete James Hunt of the transfer. You should have waited till May. I don't think that was really an option. I think by reading between the lines now, it's better that he's gone out the door, because it looks like he might have been a bit of a disruptive character in the dressing room, the fact that he's not getting game time. Fast Tank says, remember the Scottish Sky Sports football man, I can't remember his name, saying Kako Maka is 100% money driven, is less. Yeah, he is. We all knew the big Greek was money driven. That's the whole thing about the Greek. It was all about money, and that's why he wanted out of Celtic. He wanted to start, but he did refuse the new contract at Celtic. We would never sell our club for £1, and is a lucky man. We're top of the league and looking down on the Sevco -9. Willie Larson says, apparently the football cockney genius believes that the Huns are in a good place. We need to pump them in the cup final. Don A. Boy says, lots of fans looking to cash in on players when they have a dip in form. Keep these players and let's support them through their bad patch. Too many eager to sell, in my opinion, up the Celts, and that is true. And then Andy Boy says, cheers for showing my comment, mate. You always make my comment come first. It's just the way that the channel sometimes looks at it. I think a lot of people have kind of been going on about players that didn't leave during the window, and one being a little Scottish player that used to play at Hamilton, and moaning that he's on 20 grand a week and that he should have been sold or kicked out the door by now. You know, sometimes players are in squads for a reason, and it's not always what you see on the pitch. It could be what they're doing in the dressing room and what they bring to the team overall, and that's maybe why he hasn't left the club as yet. So on that note, have a great day, Celtic fans. It is Saturday. Go and enjoy your day, and I'll see you for a roundup of the game tomorrow morning, and we'll see what happens tomorrow with the game. Fantastic.